I want to make a video specifically on the team project to go over some of the main components of this and alleviate some of the concerns that some students expressed at the beginning of the semester. As I mentioned, we're going to be using Articulate Storyline 360. This will be the second tool that we're going to use for our class, and this is going to give you those tools that are necessary for you to be an instructional designer and for you to really walk out of this class with some great hands-on tools. So the team project is going to be where you're going to be working in small groups between 2 and 4 people, and you're going to develop a 30 to 60 minute e-learning module. You can use either Articulate Storyline 360 or RISE. I will let each group decide which they want to use. This upcoming week, you're going to have an opportunity to get a first look at both of the tools and get a better sense of what the functionality and potential is for the tool. Once you form your small groups, and I will be assigning those groups at the end of the week, you'll be able to meet as a group and decide which tool you want to use. This project is set to mirror the 5 parts of the EIST process, and this will give you some real-world experience with building an e-learning module based off this instructional design process. So you're going to have 5 submissions. The first one is based off the analysis stage from the EIST, and that's going to be your project proposal. That's going to be due March 24th. This upcoming week, we're going to discuss what group you're going to be in, and you're going to have the following week to work on that project proposal. The second stage is going to be design, and that's when you're going to do your design specifications. That's when you're going to start doing the storyboarding. That will be due on March 31st. The third stage will be development, and that's where you're going to make a prototype, and that's going to be due on the 14th of April. Your implementation is going to be the actual module. During the time between your implementation and evaluation, you're actually going to have learners use the module, collect some evaluation results, report back on those evaluation results, and also share how you have done and how you've made revisions to your module. So let's start with the topics and the groups. The first way we're going to do this is we're going to first have everyone post some topics in the discussion forum. I'm asking you to do this by Tuesday. It does not have to be a well thought and well developed idea. Just throw out some ideas in the discussion forum. I encourage you to be active participants throughout the week and respond to each other's ideas and see where you have common interests. It's possible you may not have a great idea, or it's possible you have a great idea and need some help with it. Whatever the idea is, throw it out there. This is a brainstorming session. I'm looking for ideas that we can find some commonality and we can start forming groups so that you're going to be able to have an opportunity to work on a topic that you like and with a group that has similar interests. In addition to posting your ideas, I'd also like you to post what your general availability is. So for instance, if you prefer to work in the evenings or you need to work early in the mornings, that is information I want you to share in your initial post. I'm going to use that to try my best to make sure the groups have a good representation and people have similar availability. It's not possible to always work out, but I will try to get the availability to match up so it's going to be a little bit easier for you to collaborate. And finally, I'd like for you to share your experience with Storyline. This is not a requirement for the project, but it will be helpful for us to know, both your classmates and me, to know if you have any previous experience with Storyline. If you do, that can be helpful as we're putting together the groups, because of what I can try to do is try to have people with some experience and no experience working together, as opposed to having everyone not have any experience. I know we have a diverse group of learners, so I want to see if we can start matching people up so we can have an opportunity for you to actually have a rewarding experience using Storyline. One of the things that I'm trying new this semester is I'm trying to do a contribution report. One of the concerns that we always have with group projects is that one person is carrying all the weight or someone's not carrying their weight. So to address that, what I've come up with is individual contribution reports. So each of the deadlines that you have for Part A, Part B, Part C, there will also be a short Word document that individuals will fill out and will share what role they serve, and I'll explain that shortly, and also give some feedback. That information is going to be helpful for me to understand if there's any areas that I need to provide assistance for. If we're having some communication issues, if we're having someone who's not able to carry their weight, by getting these weekly updates, I'll be able to step in and help provide that support that may be necessary. So I've come up with a couple roles. So the roles that I'm looking at are organizer, subject matter expert, designer, and group member. So for the organizer, this is the role that I see is going to be who's going to make sure, who's going to be that one person responsible for each group submission to make sure all the requirements have been met for that assignment. Everyone should have the opportunity to be the organizer. So I want to make sure one person submits it, so the organizer is going to be one who turns in that assignment for that week. Everyone's going to get the same grade, so it's important that everyone contributes. The next role is going to be the subject matter expert. This person is going to take the lead for that assignment on providing the content and resources needed for a submission. This person is going to be the lead on that. Does not mean they're going to do all the work. It simply means that this is going to be the point person who's going to help guide that particular part of the assignment. As you go through the parts, you will see there are specific parts that are going to need more content than others, or going to need specific resources, particular links to other websites. By setting who the subject matter expert is for that assignment, that will help delegate and assign the different roles. I encourage you, each group, to meet and discuss how you're going to break up the roles for each assignment. It is totally fine for you to change the roles between the different group submissions. There is the designer. This designer is going to be the one who's going to be taking the lead on providing the graphics or multimedia artifacts needed for that particular group assignment. So it may be that for the prototyping stage, that there's going to be someone who needs to go through and make sure all the alignment is correct and all the proximity is correct. That could be the designer role. Again, I encourage you to talk and figure out the best way to make these roles work for you. And then the last one is a group member. This group member is going to be whomever doesn't have a specific role, but is going to be working to support the project and the needs of both the organizer, the subject matter expert, and the designer. This group member may be the one who sort of helps the organizer coordinate the meetings, may provide additional resources for the subject matter expert, may help the designer with cleaning up the alignment. I encourage you to flex and use these roles to meet your needs, and also to experiment and try different positions within the group. It's important that you all have the opportunity to experience each of these different roles, as a team building process and collaboration process is going to be critical for success on this project. We're going to make use of lynda.com tutorials. So I'm going light on your reading assignments to give you more time on the lynda.com tutorials. By lowering the reading assignments does not mean that their expectation is there's going to be less amount of work. In many regards, you're going to spend more time with lynda.com and learning Articulate Storyline than you did with Captivate. This is because it's a group project. There's going to be raised expectations. Each of these assignments are going to require quite a bit of time and effort. I want you to have a very thorough understanding of Articulate Storyline, and also look at how we can use the multimedia principles that we learned in the first half of the semester and apply it to our work in Articulate Storyline. You will have to complete the full Articulate Storyline 360 course by April 7th. You have about a month to work on that, and you're welcome to go at your own pace. In addition to that full 3-hour course that you need to complete, I'm going to be assigning shorter and more functionality specific. For instance, a short hour course on learner engagement, another hour course on mobile learning. Those will be due as well, and those will be explicitly listed within each of our weekly overview videos, as well as show up as an assignment that you need to submit. For each of those, you'll need to submit a certificate. So you'll submit a certificate when I've assigned a lynda.com course, or when you've completed the full 3-hour Articulate 360 course. For group collaboration, I have 2 suggestions. The first is I recommend that you create a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder to share your source files and other artifacts that you need for your project. Additionally, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be publishing your files to Articulate Review. This provides a web link. This is the web link that you're going to be sharing when you submit it to the discussion forum and when you submit assignments to me. It's going to be very helpful for you to use Articulate Review because it allows for you to do feedback, and the feedback is attached specifically to a slide. Once we get into it, I'll provide some instructions for how to use it. I think you will find Articulate Review very helpful.